maybe 40 minutes on a Wednesday evening. God wants my life. He wants your life. He wants your heart. I know of a church that I would go and visit periodically because I would have some meetings there. One lady very nicely and graciously some years ago had done one of those latch hook rug things. You know what those are, right? And she did this, and it was, this was a big one. I don't know how many hours this thing took her. And it got hung proudly in the back wall of the church. And every time I went there, I wanted to rip it down. Because it said, an hour a week for the Lord. Is this what God says He wants? What does God want from us? He wants our lives. He wants our heart. He wants us to love Him. Okay? You notice something about the word Lord there? What do you notice about it? All capital letters. What? Why? Huh? Nothing else above Him? No, that's not why it's capitalized. That's God's name. This is God's name. This is God's personal name by which He tells us that He is the God of love. He is the God who freely and faithfully shows us His grace, who freely and faithfully shows us His undeserved love. And so when God says, I would like you to please love me, I would like you to please give me your life, what has He said to you first?
That He loves us.
I love you. I love you. And I have shown my love to you in multiple ways. Would you please love me in return with your whole life? Deuteronomy 6, a Bible passage which many of you probably learned when you were in catechism class. Let's read that one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. Notice the word Lord is the same thing. This is the God of love. Now, what is God telling us when He wants us to love Him with our heart, and our soul, and our strength? Completely. With our entire being. God doesn't want us to love Him with bits and pieces of our lives. God wants us to love Him and give our lives to Him with everything we have. Not an hour a week for the Lord, but throughout our lives. Jesus repeats the command. This same verse, Jesus repeats it in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Now, in all those circumstances, Jesus had been challenged by one of the teachers of the law. That was one of the times that they were trying to trick Jesus into doing something or saying something wrong. And so they came to Him with the question and they said, okay, we've got all these commands in Exodus and Leviticus, and if any of you have ever, how many of you have ever tried to read Leviticus? Any of you have tried to read Leviticus? How many of you have successfully made it through Leviticus? Why'd you give up? The rest of you. Why did a bunch of you not even bother reading it? Not just repetitious. There's so many laws in there. One law after another, after another, after another. And so the Pharisee, the teacher of the law said, okay, we got all those laws. Which is the number one law? And Jesus answered this: love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. And you will notice what this man says in return. Well said, teacher, the man replied. You're right in saying that God is one, and there is no other but Him. To love Him with all your heart and with all your understanding and with all your strength. And to love your neighbor as yourself is more important than all burnt offerings and sacrifices. Does God want our money? Is that God's primary concern? No. What does God want? He wants His love. He wants our love. God wants your heart. God wants your life. So I put in there the question, what does it mean for you that God wants your entire heart devoted to Him? What does that mean for you?
Keep Him first in your mind.
God comes first in my mind. He's my focus in my life. This is more than just what would Jesus do. This is more than what does God want me to do. This is how can I best show my love for my God in anything and everything I'm doing. So now, Donovan, what are you going to do when you get home from church today? You don't know. Your mother has plans for you. Who's got something they're going to do after church today? What are you going to do? Tell me some things you're going to do after you get home for the rest of the afternoon and evening. What are you going to do, Clarence? Go for it, right?